Being here today for my speech. This is going to be on the impact of coral reefs in the world. And I already sent you guys an email with the Zoom link that had the slides. There's about 4 slides that go along with this PowerPoint. So as I'm giving this presentation, please follow along with the slides. All right. Thank you for being here, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So in the past 30 years, we've lost 50% of the coral reefs in the world. If current trends continue, nearly all of them could be gone by 2050. That's within our lifetimes. Imagine a world where coral reefs are left lifeless, losing their color and leaving behind a once thriving ecosystem that had countless benefits. Today, I'm here to inform you about the critical role coral reefs play in sustaining marine life, in protecting coastal regions, as well as the urgent need for action to address the threats they face. Understanding coral reefs' importance is essential because their decline not only affects marine ecosystems, but also the stability of corals in the area and the resources we depend on. The ripple effects of their loss include economic downturns, loss of tourism revenue, and increased vulnerability to natural disaster. As a scuba diving instructor, I've been blessed to experience the vibrant beauty of healthy coral reefs. But I've also witnessed the stark contrast of reefs dying due to coral bleaching and human impact. In this speech, we'll explore how coral reefs serve as essential habitats for marine life, their critical role in protecting coastal communities, and the threats they face and what we can do to combat these challenges. According to NOAA, coral reefs, often referred to as the rainforest of the seas, support approximately 25% of all marine species, even though they only cover 1% of the ocean floor. On a dive in the Florida Keys, I saw countless species, from tiny wrasse to Goliath groupers, all using the reef for food and shelter. Reefs are nurseries for about 1/3 of the fish species we consume globally. Nature Communications 2020. A study published in the peer-reviewed journal Science found that the loss of reefs would lead to a decline in biodiversity and devastate global fisheries, affecting over 500 million people who rely on these ecosystems for food and income. Even here in Gainesville, far from the ocean, reefs play an important role in our lives. Many of the fish we eat, whether in restaurants or in grocery stores, depend on reefs for critical parts of their life cycle. Without these habitats, the seafood industry would face collapse, leading to skyrocketing prices and reduced availability. By understanding how interconnected our lives are with these underwater ecosystems, we see their survival is directly tied to our own. While reefs are crucial for marine life, they also play a key role in protecting us on land. The World Wildlife Fund states that coral reefs reduce the energy of waves by up to 97%, helping against erosion and storm surge. The impact of this protective barrier was evident in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma in 2017. Coastal areas in Florida with intact coral reefs experienced significantly less flooding and damage compared to regions where reefs were already compromised. According to research published in the Journal of Coastal Research in 2018, these reefs acted as buffers, reducing the storm's destructive power and preventing the loss of property and livelihoods. Living in Florida, we are all too familiar with hurricane season. For those of us who have family or friends living along the coast, healthy coral reefs are not just an environmental concern. They're a critical line of defense against the increasingly powerful storm surges we face each year. A Nature Geoscience study emphasizes that without coral reefs, damage from storm surge would cost an additional $4 billion a year. As for Floridians, hurricanes are a part of life. Healthy reefs protect our families and friends living along the coast. The more damage to our reefs mean the more costly recovery efforts and greater risks for everyone. Despite their importance, coral reefs are under serious threat from both natural and human-caused factors. On a recent dive off Pompano Beach, I noticed patches of dead coral where life once thrived. According to the 2019 proceeding of the National Academy of Sciences article, rising sea temperatures causes coral bleaching, killing reefs at unprecedented rates. Human activities like overfishing and population pollution amplify this. If reefs continue to decline, it's not just marine life at stake. Tourism in Florida, a $60 billion industry, depends on healthy coral reefs. Florida Department of Environmental Protection. Without reefs, thousands of jobs and businesses will be lost. The good news is we can still act to save these ecosystems. To combat reef degradation, we need stronger environmental policies, reef restoration efforts, and individual actions. Marine biologists urge that reducing carbon emission is crucial to slowing ocean warming. Marine Biology Research 2021. This creates the conditions for reefs to recover naturally. Programs like the Coral Restoration Foundation in Florida have shown that coral farming techniques can regenerate damaged reefs, according to Nature Climate Change 2022. Marine life often returns within years of restoration efforts. Additionally, research into supercorals, heat-resistant species bred for warming oceans, offer a scalable solution to combat the warmer ocean temperatures. Some argue that restoration is costly and time-consuming. However, a science-advanced study found that every dollar spent on reef conservation saves $5 in reduced storm damage and increased fishery yields. Let's visualize what the future holds depending on whether we act. Picture Florida's coastlines battered by hurricanes with no reefs to absorb the energy. Floodwaters destroy homes, displacing families. Coral reefs are left gray and lifeless, leaving tourists and local divers with no fish to see. Fishermen find empty nets as fish populations collapse, and once thriving coastal communities are abandoned. Now imagine healthy reefs teeming with life. Families safely weather storms, knowing reefs protect their homes, and fishermen bring in abundant catches, and tourists flock to dive sites, boosting local economies. The choice is ours. Do we let these ecosystems vanish, or do we act to preserve them? I urge you to take action today. Coral reefs are vanishing, but together we can make a difference. Support reef conservation organizations that are working to restore these ecosystems. Reduce your carbon footprint by making sustainable choices, and demand policies from local and national leaders that prioritize marine protection. Start small by choosing reef-safe sunscreen to avoid harmful chemicals that damage coral. Participate in local beach cleanups or volunteer with organizations involved in marine conservation. As we've discussed, coral reefs are not just underwater wonders. They are vital habitats, protectors of coastal communities, and essential to our global livelihoods. Imagine a future where beneath the waves, coral reefs thrive once more. Picture vibrant corals bursting with color, schools of fish weaving between them, and coastal communities safeguarded by this natural barrier. This future isn't just a dream, it's a possibility, but it depends on us. Let's ensure that coral reefs remain a source of life, beauty, and protection for generations to come. Okay, thank you. That was my part of the speech. Now I'm going to open this up to some questions that you guys may have. You can
I have a question.
Oh, yes, please.
It's a two-part question.
Okay.
How long have you been diving in Florida, and have you seen the reefs change for better or worse?
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's a great question. Um, I've been diving in Florida since 2018. That's when I became a scuba diving instructor, and I did my training in the Florida Keys, and then I've been diving ever since in South Florida. And in those years, I definitely have noticed a change, even though it's been so short. The coral changes pretty quickly because the temperatures of the ocean have been rising. Even just like 0.2 degrees can make a huge difference for corals. So yeah, I have seen a bit more dead corals lately and more bleached corals, which means they look all white. Probably from the rising ocean temperatures. Every year it gets a little bit warmer, which really affects the coral. But as I mentioned in the speech, scientists are working on supercorals, which can live through these warming ocean temperatures. So hopefully some more things can happen with that in the future. But yes, thank you for your question. Any others?
Yeah, that was a great question. Let's see. How about you mentioned a bunch of foundations like coral,
Like what?
like coral.
Like, like coral restoration. Yeah, I volunteered with them in the past. They're a great organization located in the Florida Keys, and they help to preserve reefs by growing elkhorn and staghorn coral. It's pretty cool. If you look at the presentation, I included a little picture there of what the nurseries look like, and then they're able to outplant those corals that they grow all over the Keys, which is really special. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question. I live in Fort Lauderdale. Okay.
Okay. I do as well. That's awesome. Please continue with your question. Please continue with your question.
I have a question. Are you ever worried about like getting bit by sharks?
No,
Okay.
that's a great question. But no, I really love sharks. They're a great part of the ecosystem, and reefs really need them to stay alive. So it's really good that we have sharks. Okay. Thank you for being here for my presentation, and yeah, I appreciate your time and effort in being here. Thank you.
I live in Fort Lauderdale.
It's okay.
Bye.
Just go to